Can you imagine the ocean's most terrifying armored monster, 10 meters long, for tons, covered in steel-like bone armor, with toothless but deadly bone blade jaws? Hunting in our seas today? Dunkleosteus, the armored tank of ancient oceans. If it were alive in our modern times, how would our oceans and marine life be shaped? "380 million years ago, in the Devonian period, even 200 million years before dinosaurs, this armored giant was the absolute ruler of the oceans. With the mass extinction event at the end of the Devonian period, the world's most powerful armored predator vanished into the depths of history. But today, guided by marine paleontology and our imagination, we're bringing Dunkleosteus back to our modern oceans and discovering how it would live. If today's Dunkleosteus were alive, they would probably inhabit coastal waters and continental shelf regions worldwide. The North Atlantic, Pacific regions with rich fish stocks, tropical waters of the Indian Ocean, and the Mediterranean would be ideal hunting grounds for these armored giants. Modern Dunkleosteus could have adapted to various depths, unlike their ancestors. These massive armored fish would probably live in midwater layers at depths of 50 to 300 meters. This depth is the ideal hunting zone, where both large prey animals are abundant and sufficient light exists. Modern Dunkleosteus could move extremely agilely in water, attacking with surprising speed despite their armored structure. Increasing sea temperatures with climate change could expand Dunkleosteus habitats. Warming waters toward polar regions could enable these armored predators to spread across wider geography. The most interesting feature is that Dunkleosteus could dive into extremely deep waters thanks to their armored structure. They could hunt even at 500-1000 meter depths where modern sharks cannot go, making them much more dangerous. In modern marine ecosystems, Dunkleosteus would definitely be at the very top of the food chain. With its 5-ton bite force, it would overshadow even today's largest marine predators. Great white sharks, tiger sharks, even killer whales would fall to secondary predator status against this armored giant. Dunkleosteus's hunting strategy is completely different from modern marine predators. Its toothless but razor-sharp bone blade jaws can literally cut prey in half. These bone structures are much more durable than modern shark teeth and never break or fall out. The biggest change would occur in large shark populations. The presence of Dunkleosteus would dramatically reduce great white shark numbers, putting this iconic species at risk of extinction. Dunkleosteus's armor provides near immunity against shark attacks. Tuna, swordfish, dolphins, and even small whales would be among Dunkleosteus targets. According to paleontologists, a Dunkleosteus would need to consume approximately 100 to 150 kilograms of meat daily, leading to serious declines in modern fish populations. Modern navigation would take on a completely different dimension with Dunkleosteus' presence. A 10-meter armored monster approaching ships would create very serious risks for maritime safety. Fishing boats would be particularly at risk. Dunkleosteus's powerful jaws could easily pierce through fiberglass ship hulls. Their armored structure makes traditional fishing equipment completely ineffective. Nets cannot stop these giants. For diving activities, Dunkleosteus pose a deadly threat. Even if these armored predators don't see humans as natural prey, they could attack due to curiosity or territorial behavior. Even diving cages could be inadequate against Dunkleosteus's 5-ton bite force. The biggest fear is that traditional deterrent methods don't work due to Dunkleosteus's armored structure. Electric shocks, sound waves, or chemical repellents don't affect these giants protected by thick bone armor. The commercial fishing industry would reach complete collapse with Dunkleosteus' presence. In the presence of these armored giants, traditional fishing methods become nearly impossible. Trawl nets are like toys for Dunkleosteus. These massive armored fish can easily tear through nets, even attack to steal prey fish from nets. Every Dunkleosteus encounter means hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses for fishing fleets. Deep-sea fishing would completely end. Dunkleosteus's ability to dive to 500-1000 meter depths makes reaching deep-water fish stocks impossible. For fish farms, the situation is even worse. Fish in open-sea cages are like ready buffets for Dunkleosteus. These armored predators can deform even steel cages with their powerful jaws, damaging thousands of tons of fish. The most radical solution would be the anti-Dunkleosteus fishing concept. Ultra-strong titanium nets, explosive harpoons, and even extreme measures like fishing under military protection would be developed. Modern maritime technology would have to fundamentally change with Dunkleosteus' presence. Ships would be redesigned to withstand these armored giants' attacks. Armored hull technology would become a new branch of engineering. Ship hulls would be coated with composite armor capable of withstanding Dunkleosteus' 5-ton bite force. This would raise ship costs to astronomical levels. Submarine technology would develop considering Dunkleosteus. Modern research submarines would be equipped with special protection systems against these armored predators. Sonar systems would be optimized to detect Dunkleosteus from distance. The most interesting development would be Dunkleosteus repellent technology. Systems using high-frequency vibrations, special chemicals, and even electromagnetic fields would be developed to keep these armored giants away. Naval military power would also transform. Navies would develop special torpedoes and harpoons against Dunkleosteus. These anti-armor weapons would create a new category in modern naval weapon technology. Dunkleosteus' presence would create a paradoxical effect in the marine tourism industry. On one hand, extreme tourism boom. On the other, collapse of traditional marine tourism. Armored cage diving would become the world's most expensive and dangerous tourism activity. Inside specially designed titanium cages, tourists would have the chance to observe these ancient armored giants. However, cost could reach $50,000 for a single dive. Dunkleosteus submarine tours would develop. Ultra-safe, armored tourism submarines would offer services for those wanting to observe these massive predators in their natural habitats. Traditional beach tourism would collapse. Dunkleosteus' presence in coastal waters would make swimming and water sports extremely dangerous. Only beaches with very advanced security systems could remain open. For the film and documentary industry, living Dunkleosteus would offer unique but extremely dangerous content opportunities. Underwater cameramen couldn't work without special armored protective equipment. For modern marine biology, living Dunkleosteus would offer revolutionary opportunities in vertebrate evolution and armor technology. These ancient armored predators' physiological features could break new ground in modern materials science. Dunkleosteus' bone armor structure would develop new approaches in military and civilian armor technology. This natural armor system could be modeled in designing lightweight but extremely durable protective equipment. Jaw mechanism and bite force could lead to revolutionary developments in industrial cutting technologies. Dunkleosteus' bone blade principle could be used in producing unbreakable cutting tools. This ancient fish's hydrodynamic structure would guide submarine and torpedo design. Dunkleosteus, armored yet agile, holds the secret to combining heavy protection with high maneuverability. Most importantly, Dunkleosteus' behavior in modern oceans would help us understand ancient apex predators' effects on ecosystems. Dunkleosteus' presence in the modern world would create trillion-dollar changes in global maritime economy. Armored predator protection industry would become a massive market. Maritime insurance would be completely reshaped. Dunkleosteus attack coverage would become mandatory for every marine vessel, with premiums reaching astronomical levels. Fishing industry collapse would threaten global food security. Seafood prices would increase 10 to 20-fold, creating protein source crisis. The most profitable industry would be Dunkleosteus armor technology. Materials inspired by this ancient predator's armor structure would create billion-dollar trade in military and civilian markets. Deep-sea mining and oil industry would also be greatly affected. Offshore platforms would have to be equipped with special protection systems against Dunkleosteus attacks. Dunkleosteus's anatomical features would create revolutionary sources of inspiration for modern technology development. Bone armor technology would initiate a new era in materials science. Bioarmor technology would develop. Composite materials mimicking Dunkleosteus bone plate microstructure would be used in both military and civilian applications. These materials would be lightweight, flexible, yet extremely durable. Dunkleosteus jaw mechanism would be used in robotics and industrial applications. Guillotine jaw robot Technology would offer revolutionary applications in rescue operations, construction, and even medical surgery. This ancient fish's swimming dynamics would be modeled in submarine drone design. The Dunkleosteus principle, armored yet agile, would be applied in military unmanned underwater vehicles. Dunkleosteus' presence in the modern world would create profound effects on coastal communities' psychology and social behaviors. Living with these armored monsters would fundamentally change humans' relationship with seas. Thalassophobia, fear of deep sea, would reach pandemic levels. Millions living on seacoasts would experience psychological trauma. Some would have to migrate inland. Child-rearing styles would change dramatically in coastal regions. Ocean safety education would become mandatory curriculum. Children would receive survival training about armored predators from early age. Coastal city planning would be done considering Dunkleosteus' threat. Water sports centers, marinas, and fishing ports would be equipped with special protection systems. Various seafaring cultures would interpret Dunkleosteus' return differently. Ancient sea monster legends would become reality. Leviathan and other mythological sea monster narratives would revive with Dunkleosteus' presence. Some seafaring societies would see these armored giants as messengers of sea gods. New religious movements could develop. Organizations like Church of the Armored Leviathan could adopt Dunkleosteus as symbol of divine power and protection. Among traditional fishing communities, protection rituals and ceremonies against Dunkleosteus would develop. Prayers and offerings before going to sea would become integral parts of modern maritime culture. Modern international maritime law would develop new protocols regulating balance between Dunkleosteus' protection and human security. Ancient marine predator law would become a new legal field. Dunkleosteus killing laws would be very strict. Only in emergency self-defense situations would killing these armored predators be permitted. Illegal hunting would be punished with severe penalties. International waters would be classified according to Dunkleosteus risk zones. Commercial activities in high-risk areas would be restricted or prohibited. The most controversial issue would be whether Dunkleosteus populations could be controlled. There would be constant conflicts between conservation groups and maritime industry. If Dunkleosteus could live in our modern world, our oceans would be completely different places from what we know today. The presence of these 4-ton armored giants would not only change marine ecosystems, but would fundamentally transform all of human civilization's relationship with the seas. From technology to economy, from science to culture, every field would be reshaped around these ancient armored predators' presence in modern oceans. As humanity, we would learn to see seas not as places we conquered, but as mysterious worlds we share with 380-million-year-old armored monsters. Dunkleosteus' presence would also remind us how ancient and powerful the natural world is. These armored giants swimming in modern oceans would create deep feelings of humility in the face of evolutionary history's incredible complexity and nature's never fully understandable mystery. Perhaps most importantly, Dunkleosteus' presence in the modern world would teach us this. Our planet's history is much longer and more dramatic than our existence. These armored tanks dominating our oceans would create profound respect in the face of life's incredible resilience and adaptation power. What do you think our oceans would be like if Dunkleosteus lived today? Share your thoughts about the changes this legendary armored monster would create in modern marine life in the comments. Did you like the video? Don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more fascinating content about extinct creatures.